have been in the pen for about 10, but now it look like when he get out, I'm going in. So now I walk around with my mind blown in my own little zone, 'cause one day you're here, the next day you're gone.
First of all, I'm only using 2 different programs for this actually, and one of them's free and found on most Macs, just off the bat. That program's GarageBand. The other program that I'm using is a little one called DJ. I've only found this on Mac OS X. I'm not sure if there's a Windows equivalent, but it's a nice little piece of software. It really allows you to get those samples out that you're going to want to use to piece together your new song. So here's a few examples I was playing around with. I started out using the track Wake Up by Arcade Fire, a really popular song. A lot of people caught it from that Where the Wild Things Are movie. So I'm just going to load that up into this program DJ here. Now right off the bat you can kind of listen to it. Everything sounds good. Now I want to isolate this rhythmic track here at the beginning just to use in the new song. So basically what I'm going to want to do is just set a cue point to start it right on when the rhythm starts. A lot of times you're just going to have to kind of toy with this. In this program it doesn't actually show you the bars of the music, so you kind of have to figure it out for yourself. Just figure out the timing on when to enter in on these. Now you want to make it really exact. You really want it on like the split second that it starts. It'll really come into play when you start putting these songs together, or all of these samples together. Because if it's a little bit off, then you're going to have it off every time it's looping, and it's just going to get slowly more and more out of time. So be very precise about that. I would say that's probably the most time-consuming aspect of this, is just trying to make sure that you have really solid samples. But it's important. Alright, there we go. Now we got synced up. We can do it whenever we want. Now the thing is, one of the most important things is trying to get the beats per minute to match up. If you have 2 different songs with 2 different time signatures going at the same time, it's going to be really difficult. It's not going to line up, obviously. Now a lot of programs out there can actually calculate and give you the beats per minute, which makes it a lot easier. This program doesn't do that. Wish it did. Instead what you have to do is actually tap out the beat, which is kind of inconsistent. You have to be really precise about it. So with this one here, I'm just going to play it a little bit. You just have to kind of tap with it. That kind of fluctuates a little bit with this program. You have to be really careful about it. Okay, so we have about 145. So we're going to add a different track on top of that. We have that. Starts up when we like. Now a lot of times one of the hardest things you're going to have is getting the keys to line up. If you have 2 songs that are in 2 different keys as well, they're not going to line up, obviously. You're going to have a lot of dissonance, and they're just not going to sound like they go together. Ultimately what you're going to want is trying to get tracks that are having the vocal part of it separated and isolated. Trying to make this yourself is very difficult. There's no real precise way that you can just rip a vocal track from a song. Actually the best way to do it, there's a pretty large community out there that's provided thousands upon thousands of just the vocal tracks isolated by themselves. I found a website here called Acapellas for You, with a 4 instead of the word, because it's cool like that. So for the acapella track, I took an old favorite of mine. This one's The Whole World by Outkast. You may remember that song. It's completely got all of the instruments and everything stripped away from it. It's just a vocal track. So if you listen to this, no music, just the vocals. Really nice to work with. Now again, you're going to want to get this queued up to where it's right on the measure, really even. So that's not bad, we got it pretty well down right there. Now again, these are going to be horribly out of tempo with each other if I try playing them with each other right now. So, we have to figure out what the BPM of this one is.
Yeah, I'm afraid, like I'm scared as a dog, but I've got a new song and I won't talk.
Now that one we got about 125, so it's about 20 beats per minute less than that other track that we have. A little harder to figure out with the acapellas, because you really can't hear the rhythm behind it, so you really have to kind of get a feel for it. So now on this program you can actually sync up what the beats per minute are and keep it at the same. Whichever one you actually end up changing is totally up to you. I personally like the rhythmic aspect of the Arcade Fire track, so I'm going to keep that and sync up these vocals with it. It's going to try and change the key to match up with the speed. You can actually alter that, so it's not going to do that. Now it's just, you hear that it's a little bit faster. Now, actually getting them to go together is a little bit harder sometimes, but go ahead and give this a shot right here, just off the bat. So you can hear that. Sometimes if it's not quite in speed with each other, they'll start to kind of pull apart from each other as the song goes on. But you can tell here, these ones actually line up pretty well. So I mean, it's really that simple. This is kind of just a real basic example, but we can take it a step further. Instead of just taking something really simple and kind of cheap like a popular song like Wake Up and putting hip-hop over it like Outkast, I kind of wanted to go for something with a little bit more complexity to it. So using GarageBand together with this program, I decided to kind of piece together a little song of my own. And my copy of DJ just quit itself randomly, so I'm going to have to get my samples back real quick. This will just be a sec. Thanks, technology. Yeah. So my whole computer is pretty much locked up by now. Editing a whole lot of music at the same time can kind of wear down your machine, so be careful about that. Save often. Save often.
Stop.